Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories. If you're a new subscriber or you're watching for the first time, this is Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories, where we bring to you the juiciest and trending stories of the week.
It has been a splendid week with a handful of big stories and talking points, particularly on the unpleasant, chaotic scenes at Mandilas market in Lagos, the shocking revelation about the Apetu of Ipetumodu $4.5 million COVID-19 fraud, and the big story about Equatorial Guinea's president's son facing jail sentence for selling national plane. Welcome to this week's episode of Ekohotblog's weekly review of trending stories. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome on board, as this is where we serve you interesting, trending, and fascinating stories that happened within the course of the week that you may have missed. I am Daniel Samsonido. I'll be taking you through all the highlighted stories for this week's episode. First, let's take a look at the big stories. Tinubu defends tough reforms, commends Nigerians for endurance. Apetu of Ipetumodu jailed in US for $4.2 million COVID-19 fraud. Doctors warn of strike as Lagos State salary dispute escalates. One bed as chaos erupts at Mandilas market in Lagos Island. Ekpe local government partners Rotary for free health mission and menstrual care project. Olowa inspects flood mitigation projects in Alakun, Ayeteju communities. Trump predicts end to Gaza war within weeks. Equatorial Guinea jails president's son for selling national plane. Chelsea's former wonder kid hands Liverpool late win against Newcastle. Grimsby town condemns Man United to early League Cup exit. On entertainment, Nigerian designer sets world record with rope's longest sleeve. And on the reality Big Brother Naija show, Big Soso accuses Dede of toying with housemates' emotions. Now the news in full. Tinubu defends tough reforms, commends Nigerians for endurance. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu compared his administration's ongoing reforms to bitter medicine required to address Nigeria's economic challenges. Ekohotblog reports that the president made the remark during an interactive session with Nigerians in Brazil before departing Brasilia for Abuja after a high-level state visit focused on strengthening Nigeria-Brazil relations. The presidential jet departed Brasilia International Airport Air Force Base at about 12:57 a.m. local time, as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu admitted that his government's policy decisions have brought hardship, but insisted they are necessary to put the country on a path of sustainable growth. He urged citizens to remain patient and resilient, assuring that his administration is committed to building a stronger economy anchored on food security, innovation, and shared prosperity. The president also called on Nigerians in the diaspora to play a more active role in nation building, describing them as ambassadors whose skills, knowledge, and resources are vital to national development. He further expressed support for upcoming voyage inspired by Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, linked to a cultural initiative he launched as governor of Lagos State. Tinubu appealed to Nigerians at home and abroad to promote unity, peace, and collective passion for the country's progress. Meanwhile, Nigeria carrier Air Peace has launched a direct flight service between Lagos and Sao Paulo, marking a major step in strengthening air links between Africa and South America. The inaugural flight conveyed members of Nigeria's delegation and Brazilian business leaders. This followed the signing of an aviation agreement in Brasilia, which officials said will expand trade, tourism, and cultural exchange between the two nations. In a statement, the presidency said the development shows that Nigerian carriers can compete on global routes and that Nigeria's partnership with Brazil is already producing tangible results. Still on national news, Apetu of Ipetumodu jailed in US for $4.2 million COVID-19 fraud. The Apetu of Ipetumodu, Oba Joseph Oloyede, has been sentenced in the United States to 56 months in prison for his role in a $4.2 million COVID-19 relief fraud scheme. Ekohotblog gathered that the 62-year-old monarch, who also holds U.S. citizenship and resides in Medina, Ohio, was convicted after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and filing false tax returns. He was also ordered to pay more than $4.4 million in restitution, forfeit his home in Ohio, and surrender nearly $100,000 in seized funds. Court records show that Oloyede conspired with his associate Edward Oluwasanmi between April 2020 and February 2022 to exploit U.S. pandemic relief programs, including the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Scheme under the CARES Act. Together, they filed dozens of fraudulent applications using fabricated information, resulting in more than $4.2 million in disbursed loans and grants. Investigators revealed that Oloyede, who operated as a tax preparer and business owner, also submitted applications on behalf of some clients in exchange for kickbacks of up to 20% of the loan amounts. He used part of the proceeds to acquire land, build a house, and purchase a luxury vehicle. In total, 38 fraudulent loan applications were traced to him. His accomplice, Oluwasanmi, was earlier sentenced to 27 months in prison and ordered to repay over $1.2 million. The case was investigated by the FBI, IRS, and the Department of Transportation's Office of Inspector General and prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Northern District of Ohio. Up next is Lagos News. The Lagos State branch of the Nigeria Medical Association has threatened to carry out a solidarity strike in support of the medical guild over salary deductions and welfare concerns imposed by the Lagos State government. Ekohotblog gathered that the decision followed an emergency general meeting during which members examined the guild's 21-day ultimatum to the government, which is due to expire on August the 25th, 2025. The NMA is demanding the refund of July salary deductions and the full payment of August salaries by the same date. The association also warned that it would begin its own strike 2 weeks after the medical guild's action if the government fails to meet these demands. The dispute originated from salary deductions first introduced on April the 23rd, 2025, which were temporarily reversed after protests but reinstated on July the 23rd. In response, the medical guild conducted a 3-day warning strike from July the 28th to the 30th, yet the withheld salaries remain unpaid. In a statement signed by NMA Lagos chairman Dr. Saheed Kehinde, the association also criticized Lagos University Teaching Hospital for not providing call duty meals for over 5 years. It rejected a February proposal by LUT's Chief Medical Director, Professor Wasiu Adeyemo, to implement a paid canteen system, insisting that doctors on duty should receive meals at no cost. The NMA further condemned the exclusion of LUT doctors from arrears payments already issued to other federal health institutions, stressing that workers are entitled to their wages irrespective of when arrears were incurred. The association called on Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, to collaborate with relevant agencies to ensure immediate reimbursement of deductions, timely payment of salaries, and a permanent end to what it described as obnoxious and crisis-prone salary policies. Still on Lagos news, one dead as chaos erupts at Mandilas market in Lagos Island. Chaos broke out on Wednesday at the bustling Mandilas market on Lagos Island after a dispute between two mania workers turned fatal, Ekohotblog gathered. Eyewitnesses reported that the confrontation began over the division of job earnings between two young workers, one Igbo and the other Yoruba, before escalating out of control. During the argument, the Igbo worker allegedly stabbed his Yoruba counterpart, who was rushed to a hospital but later pronounced dead. The incident ignited tension in the market as friends of the deceased attacked the suspect. Members of the police quickly intervened, restoring order and taking the suspect into custody. Authorities have confirmed the deaths and assured traders and residents that calm has returned. Investigations are ongoing, with officials urging the public to avoid spreading unverified reports that could inflame ethnic tension. Up next is Ekpe News. Ekpe local government partners Rotary for free health mission and menstrual care project. Ekpe local government, under the leadership of Honorable Princess Sura Olayemi Animashaun, in partnership with the Rotary International District 9126 and District 5170, as well as the Rotary Foundation, has officially launched the Rotary Health Mission and Menstrual Care Project. Ekohotblog gathered that the two-day medical outreach, which kicked off on Wednesday, August the 27th, 2025, at Kpakpa Primary Healthcare Center, Ekpe, is offering residents with free medical services, including general consultation, essential drugs, laboratory investigations, and distribution of sanitary pads for women and girls. Life-saving surgery screenings are also being conducted. Honorable Sura Animashaun, while speaking at the opening, said, "This project is more than a medical outreach. It is a mission of compassion, a promise of healing, and a reflection of our government's commitment to putting people first," she said. In addition, free eye and medical screenings are ongoing at Ekpe Primary Health Center, where residents are benefiting from eye tests, blood glucose checks, malaria tests, and the distribution of 100 free eyeglasses at no cost. Still on Ekpe News, Olowa inspects flood mitigation project in Alakun, Ayeteju communities. The executive chairman of Ibeju local government, Honorable Engineer Abdullahi Sheson Olowa, on Monday, the 25th of August 2025, inspected ongoing flood control works in Alakun and Ayeteju communities. Ekohotblog gathered that the projects, which involve the development of swamp excavators from drainage clearance, are aimed at decongesting blocked water channels and canals to allow the smooth flow of rainwater. This intervention is expected to reduce the risk of flooding, erosion, and damage to lives and property in the area. Speaking during the inspection, Honorable Olowa said, "This administration is committed to taking proactive steps against flooding. By ensuring our drainage systems are functional, we are safeguarding lives, protecting properties, and improving the living conditions of our people," he added. The initiative is part of the local government's broader environmental management designed to tackle the recurring flooding challenges in Ibeju during the rainy season. Honorable Olowa added that clean and open waterways mean safer communities and better sanitation for all. Now on to the foreign scene. Trump predicts end to Gaza war within weeks. As global condemnation grows over rising casualties and worsening humanitarian conditions in Gaza, US President Donald Trump has called for a swift end to the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Ekohotblog gathered that Trump has expressed concern over the devastating impact of the war, particularly on civilians, and predicted a resolution could come soon. On the same day as his latest remarks, at least 21 Palestinians, including 5 journalists, were reportedly killed in an Israeli strike on Nasser Hospital. He shifted attention to his ongoing efforts to secure the release of Israeli hostages still held in Gaza. Still on foreign news, Equatorial Guinea jails president's son for selling national plane. A court in Equatorial Guinea has convicted Ruslan Obiang Insue, son of President Teodoro Mbasogo, for illegally selling an aircraft belonging to the country's national airline. Ekohotblog reports that, according to the Supreme Court Press Director Hilario Mitogo, the ruling delivered on Tuesday ordered Obiang Insue to serve 6 years in prison unless he reimburses the state for the missing plane. The court found the 50-year-old guilty for selling an ATR 27500 belonging to the national carrier Sabre International to a Spanish company and diverting the proceeds. Insue, a former director of the airline, had been placed under house arrest in 2023 on the orders of his half-brother, Vice President Teodoro Obiang. Mitogo explained that the court's decision allows Insue to avoid prison if he pays about $255,000 to the airline in addition to damages and a fine payable to the state. He was, however, acquitted of separate charges of embezzlement and abuse of office. Obiang Insue has previously held government positions, including Secretary of State for Sports and Youth, in the oil-rich Central African nation that has been under his father's rule for 45 years. This development adds to the controversy surrounding the Obiang family. In 2021, French court convicted Vice President Obiang Mangue of embezzling public funds, handing him a suspended prison sentence and a $35 million fine. Up next is sport news. Chelsea's former wonder kid hands Liverpool late win against Newcastle. 16-year-old Rio Ngumoha delivered a stunning Premier League debut goal to secure a dramatic 3-2 win for Liverpool against Newcastle United at St James Park on Monday night. Ekohotblog gathered that the teenager, who turned 17 in just 4 days, was brought on by Aaron Slot in the 96th minute, with the game tied at 2-2. Barely 4 minutes later, Ngumoha calmly slotted the ball into the far corner, stealing 3 points for the reigning champions in a pulsating encounter. Ngumoha had been a standout performer during preseason, scoring 3 goals and registering 2 assists. He carried that form into his senior debut. Before Ngumoha's winner, Newcastle had fought back bravely despite going down to 10 men late in the first half. Anthony Gordon was shown a straight red card after a VAR review upgraded his initial yellow card for a dangerous challenge on Virgil van Dijk. At that point, Liverpool had already taken the lead through Ryan Gravenberch's long-range efforts. Moments into the second half, Hugo Ekitike added a second goal, finishing smartly after a blocked shot from Cody Gakpo fell his way. Ekitike had been on Newcastle's radar as a possible replacement for Alexander Isak, but chose Liverpool instead. Despite being a man down, the Magpies found a lifeline as Bruno Guimaraes pulled one back with a powerful header just before the hour mark. Substitute Will Osula, the only natural striker available to Eddie Howe, later drew the game level after capitalizing on a long ball flicked on by Dan Bourne. The gaudy crowd, loud and full of belief, thought they had seen their team snatch a point until Ngumoha's heroic silenced the home fans. Newcastle's problems deepened with Isak still pushing for a move and Gordon now set to miss 3 domestic matches. Meanwhile, Liverpool have opened their title defense with back-to-back wins, though they will be concerned about conceding 4 goals in 2 matches. Still on sports, Grimsby Town condemned Man United to early League Cup exit. Grimsby Town FC shocked Man United with a surprise Carabao Cup win as Ruben Amorim's lackluster team crashed out of the League Cup competition. Ahead of the second round fixture of the Carabao Cup, Manchester United were under intense pressure over their poor start to the season after securing just 1 point out of 6 in 2 Premier League games. Although Man United fans were optimistic after a spirited display against Arsenal in the opening league fixture, despite a slender 1-0 loss, a draw against Fulham United cast further doubts over the team's form. Going into the League Cup tie against 4th Division's Grimsby Town, fans and pundits had high expectations over the possibility of United securing their first win of the season. However, it only took Grimsby 22 minutes to cast a grim doubt over United's chance of securing their first win of the season as Charles' venomous strike gave the home team the lead. Grimsby compounded United's woe on the night with another goal via a slip-up from Andre Onana, who missed an inbound cross from a corner as Tyrell Warren tapped the ball into an empty goal, condemning the visitors to a 2-0 defeat at halftime. At the interval, Ruben Amorim introduced 3 substitutions to salvage the situation as skipper Bruno Fernandes, Matthias de Ligt and Brian Mbeumo came on to change the status quo. Manchester United huffed and puffed until a brilliant strike from Brian Mbeumo in the 57th minute altered the scoreline and gave United a chance to restore parity. In the 89th minute, Harry Maguire headed in a well-taken cross from Mason Mount to bring the scoreline level before full-time as the tie went on to penalties. Eventually, Grimsby Town emerged winner of the penalty shootout as Matthias Cunha squandered United's opportunity to win the spot kick due to a tame effort at goal. Following Brian Mbeumo's miss, Grimsby Town secured a 12-11 penalty shootout win, condemning United to an early League Cup exit. Now let's take a look at what's buzzing in the world of showbiz and entertainment. Nigerian designer sets world record with robe's longest sleeves. A Nigerian fashion designer, Samuel Chinemerem Eze, has set a world record by creating a robe featuring the longest sleeves ever recorded. Ekohotblog reports that Guinness World Records confirmed that the sleeves measure an incredible 51.20 meters. The 27-year-old designer and student at Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University surpassed global benchmarks with sleeves longer than both the Statue of Liberty's height and Olympic-sized swimming pool. Combining his design skills with determination, Eze plans to showcase the robe worldwide. Still on entertainment news, Big Soso accused Dede of toying with housemates' emotions. A heated argument erupts in the Big Brother Naija house on Saturday night after the weekly party involving housemates Big Soso and Dede. Ekohotblog reports that the drama began when Big Soso accused Dede of toying with the emotions of fellow housemates Jason J, Kola and Koyi, whom she referred to as her boys. Dede, who has consistently stated that she has a committed relationship outside the house, has been seen spending a lot of time with the male housemates. Her actions prompted Big Soso's confrontation. The situation quickly worsened when Dede dismissed the accusations, insisting she was not accountable to Big Soso. Housemate Koyi, one of the men at the center of the dispute, intervened and pulled Dede away, preventing the argument from escalating further. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of Ekohotblog's weekly review of trending stories. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell below to always get notified. Which of the news is most astonishing to you? Tell us in the comment section below. Till next time, stay safe and healthy.